A universal constant that I've found in my life is that when I am at my lowest mentally, I am the most attractive to women. It's really funny. It's like an inverse correlation. The better I feel, the less interesting I am. But the worse I feel, the more introverted, the more depressive, the more one foot in front of the other my day to day becomes, the more interesting and even magnetic I am to women. And this isn't some red pill bullshit. So if you're here because you are some kind of incel and you want to make yourself feel better, fuck off. Okay. But what I do want to talk about is how this feeling, these periods of nihilism, do make you more attractive to women and why I think that is. It's funny that this has become so universal that it's a trope now in Hollywood. I mean, movies like Drive, Ryan Gosling is driving around killing people and seeming tortured. Women are throwing themselves at him.
Look like a zombie, kid. You getting any sleep?
In fact, Ryan Gosling kind of himself became the face of the Sigma male movement, quote unquote.
You look lonely. I can fix that.
As bullshit as all that is, in his typecasting in these types of roles. My hair is fucking annoying me. Hang on. But the question that I've had ever since I was about 18 or 19 is, why is this? I tend to be a little bit more of a feminine person. I'm in touch with my emotions. I read a lot. I'm artistic. I'm not super manly. I'm outgoing. I smile a lot. I laugh a lot. I make a lot of jokes. The incels would call this gesture maxing. I don't call it anything. I'm just who I am. But there are times in my life when I do go through periods of deep nihilism or frustration with what I am, or maybe even just an overwhelm with work where I am putting one foot in front of the other and there's no end goal in sight. I'm purely focused on survival, whether that's mental survival from the day to day or business survival or just work in general has overwhelmed me. I am completely inwardly focused. And for some reason, it's in those periods that women find themselves magnetically attracted to me. One thing that women have had to deal with their entire lives, especially beautiful women, is a preponderance of male attention. In fact, it seems like everywhere they're going, men are trying to get their attention, keep their attention, or take their attention off of another man. This has to be exhausting at its core. Can you imagine being a father or mother times 500 where everyone is constantly tugging at your pant legs? It's got to be exhausting. So when they come across someone who not only is not trying to get their attention, but appears to be completely indifferent to whether or not they receive attention from this person, that's fascinating to them. It's not necessarily even fascinating in a romantic sense. It's a why. What I'm about to talk about is not some magic trick, some rabbit you can yank out of a hat in order to find yourself a bikini model girlfriend. In fact, if you are trying to do that, it's going to fail. Because the number one thing that people can sniff out, especially women, is inauthenticity. If you're being something you're not, if you're trying to stand in the corner and seem dark and cool and mysterious, you're just going to come off like a school shooter.
How do I look, yellow man?
To be frank with you, the issue that you're going to have if you're trying to seem more dark and mysterious and uncollected, if you're wanting to cosplay Geralt of Rivia, is you're going to look like you have a Mac 10 in your JanSport. All right, so just don't fucking do that. But why is it that women find that interesting? Well, they find that interesting because everywhere around them is like this push. Imagine a solid pressure. They're in a little bathysphere of their own being, and then men are constantly reaching in and trying to like get into the bathysphere. So when a guy is completely self-absorbed, for better or worse, he then comes off as a negative space. When you are that negative space, you offer something that no other guy can offer at that time, which is 1, stability, and 2, calmness. But why does it always seem to happen when you're at your lowest? Well, the answer is pretty simple in my estimation. For example, last summer, I was frustrated with my business. I was unsure of if it was even going to survive. In fact, I went on Facebook and I tried to sell it for $100,000. Now, $100,000 for the business last year, especially last March or April, was a wildly optimistic valuation. And I think I did that because I really didn't want to sell it. I wanted to be able to go back and tell people, hey, fuck you, you never bought my business. Now it's worth $200 million, which I kind of appreciate. I think that's fun. But I was at my lowest. I wanted to sell my business. I was hating my day job, which was commercial real estate. And for whatever reason, that was when I seemed to be incredibly magnetic to women. I was deeply withdrawn. I was drinking a lot. I had locked myself in my room for 3 weeks trying to build a new business that I ultimately shut down out of frustration. And I was being stopped in Walmart by women who wanted to talk to me. I was being hit on by every waitress every single time I went out to eat. And I don't mean in the way where guys are like, oh, she totally wants me, bro. That stripper's super into me.
She wants to fuck me. She wants my dick in or around her mouth.
I mean, genuinely writing their numbers down, asking for my Instagram in a way that I've never seen before. And I'm old, right? I live in a college town, and I'm a decade older than a college student at conservatively. And I was still getting attention from women who were, to be completely frank with you, out of my league. And I think the reason why is because of that pressure, the negative pressure that I talked about. When you are nihilistic, it doesn't mean depressed. It means that you're focused on your day-to-day without a feeling that there is an outcome that needs to be achieved. That outcome being achieved is something that a lot of people consider to be goal-setting behavior or long-term focus. But a nihilist, at their core, not that I am one, is someone who does not believe that the end matters at all. What they believe matters is the day-to-day. What is happening right now? What is happening tomorrow? And there's something that is magnetically alluring to people, women and men, about someone who is so inwardly focused, so focused on their current movements, their current actions, that they aren't worried about impressing anyone else. Now, while that to you is maybe reading as anxiety or agoraphobia or antisocial behavior, to everyone else it reads as confidence. And the funny thing about this is that the less you're trying, the more you come off as someone who already inhabits that personality that other people want. Because everyone is trying to an extent. Everyone deep down is working hard on what they want to achieve. So if they see you and you don't appear to be trying at all, but you're keeping your head above water, it's like watching someone tread water in the ocean effortlessly. You're thinking, how are they doing that? And to people, to especially women or people who could be romantically interested in you, that seems delightful. Because they themselves, especially women who have grown up in a patriarchal society and have been taught to second, third, and fourth guess everything that they are doing, saying, wearing, being, going. Every single detail of their life is being nitpicked, from their social media presence all the way down to the color of nails that they have on. So when they see a guy who doesn't appear to be nitpicking anyone else, who doesn't appear to be a person who will be judgmental, who seems to be completely emotionally stable, and who is so absorbed in their goals that they don't have the time or energy to impress anyone else, they become completely magnetic. If you want to absorb this and make this part of your personality, then here are the positive traits we can come across without actually being depressed and trying to drink ourselves half to death. If you are interested in being more attractive to women, the first thing you need to do is stop trying to impress them. It comes from Taoism, the Wu Wei, the principle of non-forcing. But anytime that you're trying to impress a woman, you come across like a toddler saying, "Mom, watch this." You look like an idiot. If you're at the club and you're trying to brag to women about your car and your apartment and your business and your hobbies and the famous people that you know. Oh, I went water skiing with Chief Keef and I did blow with Donald Trump Jr. or whatever the fuck. Not that you should ever do blow with Donald Trump. Never mind. Why am I talking about this? Fuck Trump, by the way. Anyway, if you're trying to impress people with shit like this, then you just come across like you're deeply insecure. You impress no one, and that's the paradox of trying to impress people. Instead, what you should be doing is treating everyone, and this is toxic, but a little bit like a waiter who wanted to tell you a life detail about themselves. When you're at when you're at a restaurant, you are polite, you are somewhat disengaged, and when a waiter is like, "Oh yeah, decided to come to work today because my cat was sick," and you're like, "Nice, man. Can I get my beer?" That mode that you adopt, that polite level of separation, distance, disinterest, all of that is actually highly attractive to the people that you're around. Second thing that you can do is be focused on the day to day. A lot of people who are trying to impress other people are focused so much on the future that they never talk about the present. In 2 years, I'm going to be a famous actor, and I'm going to be doing this, and I'm going to have a yacht, and I'm going to have a private jet. And it's like, okay, man, sure. One of the most important and impactful quotes that I ever read was that a lot of people are waiting for their life to start and forgetting that their life is happening right now. I mean, it's okay to have plans, right? Oh, when I get out of school, I'm going to do this. I can't wait for grad school so that I can do this. And then when I get out of grad school, I'm going to do this. Not to be super millennial, but to quote The Office, I wish you knew you were in the good old days before they ended. A lot of people say that. That's the same thing when you're constantly future focused. Instead, what you should do is adopt the Shaolin principle that the now is all that matters. I mean, if you are interested at all in quantum sorcery or chaos magic or reality transurfing, you know that the now is all that matters, that every single moment is being plucked out of the quantum foam. But if you're constantly talking about the future, you're not living in the now, and you appear to be someone who is insecure about the now. Imagine if you met someone who was worth $100 million. How much do you think that they would brag about their potential future versus their now? Now, let's say they're an asshole and they're going to brag, okay? They're going to brag about the car they have right now. Or, the very most, I have a Pagani on order. It's coming in 2 months. Burt Sienna, whatever. They're not going to necessarily spend all their time trying to convince you that in 5 years they're going to have $500 million, and in 10 years they're going to have $1 billion. I mean, they might, but then if they did, they would come off as super insecure. A little bit of a different video. I just thought I would pick up the red phone and give you a call, let you know what's going on. If you like videos like this, feel free to subscribe. I'm probably going to be doing more of them in the future. And if you tell me that you don't like the telephone, fuck you.